Good morning, class 11 students. This is the third part of the chapter, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse. So, before we begin, I think we should take a look at the portion we covered in the last two videos. The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse, written by William Saroyan. So, the chapter began when Adams recall of an experience. He remembers an experience when he was 9 years old, and you know because for the children everything is delightful and full of life. Murad, who is his elder cousin, he came at 4 in the morning and he tapped on his window, and when he opened the window he found that his cousin Murad, he was sitting on a beautiful white horse. And Adam too had a longing to ride horse, but they were actually very poor, so they cannot afford a horse. And the tribe they belong to, it is called Garogalanian, and their tribe is so poor because they don't have money. But still, being a poverty-stricken tribe, they are they are well known for their honesty and their that they are very trustworthy, so they would never do anything to take advantage of anyone. So it was very difficult for Adam to to come up with an explanation that as to how his cousin managed to get a white horse. So then he gave his own explanation to this whole act, because when Adam asked Murad if he had stolen the horse, he did not get any answer from Murad, and Adam was sure that the horse was stolen, as they were both very very crazy, or they had a very keen desire about riding horses. And just to satisfy and just to to dwell on his own perception, childish perception, Adam thought that stealing a horse for a ride was not the same as stealing something like money, or they also do not intend to intend to sell the horse for money. So it means it is not stealing. That is how he is justifying his whole act, his cousin's act. But actually, in reality, even if you take something from somebody, from your from anyone without his permission, it is equivalent to stealing. So we actually disagree with Adam's explanation here, his justification, because his justification is very kiddish. He's because just to avoid the fact that this act could bring a blot or to their tribe, he is just he just wants to satisfy his his conscience, his conscience, by saying that they haven't stolen the horse, they have just borrowed it for riding, but they have forgotten that it is equivalent to stealing. And so Aram, he could not resist the offer, so he jumped out of the window, and they as they lived on the boundary of the town, which is called Walnut Avenue, right? So it has a vast countryside full of orchards, vineyards, and irrigation ditches, right? It is all nearby. So we see that they both, Murad, he rode the horse, and then he also sang because he was excited and enjoyment. But Adam did not like his cousin's voice, and also he finds it that it is very crazy, because Murad is considered the natural inheritor of the crazy character of their tribe. And before Murad, who was famous for his craziness, it was Uncle Kushro. uh, you know because he had a black hair and the largest mustache in the San Joaquin Valley, which is in California. So Murad is considered a crazy boy. And the strange thing is that actually Murad is Murad's father is Mr. Zorab. But in this tribe, it is very common that you may be your father's son, but it is not necessary that you will have your father's quality. And we could actually see in this case of Murad's father is Mr. Zorab, and Zorab is very practical man, right? And he does not have any kind of crazy streak. But Murad has traits of his uncle Khushro. right? So we see that now Aram is also requesting that he also wanted to ride the horse all by himself, all alone, but he doesn't know how to ride the horse. So Murad did not answer him, and he said he will only be allowed to ride the horse if horse allows it. So this is very strange, and then he mentions that he has this understanding with horse can only understand him, right? That is what he is that's what he mentions, that he has some understanding with animal. Then what happened? Murad rode it, and then he let his cousin ride the horse on his own. So he perched upon the horse, and then he kicked into the muscles of the horse, and then the horse started running. But Aram, he could not control the horse, and the horse, instead of running across the field, the horse ran into the vineyard and leaped over. It jumped over 7 vines before Aram fell, and as the horse has no attendant now, the horse ran away, and it actually took them an hour or half more than half an hour to find the horse. They look everywhere, and then luckily they were able to find the horse. It actually took them half an hour to find it. So what happened? It's Now it's time for, because it all happened in early in the morning, and now the sun has already risen. It means everybody will be awake, and they will be on the way to work or outside. So it is likely that they will be spotted, right? So the boys, they decides that the boys decides that they would hide the horse. And also he was warned, Aram was also warned by Murad, that in case we get caught, or if somebody asks, so we'll say that we have found this horse today, but actually this horse was stolen. It was stolen a month ago, because Murad, he has been riding the horse for a month, and then after so after having satisfied with this, he brought this horse to his cousin Aram, because he knew that his cousin also had a desire to ride the horse. So that is why he warned him that in case if anybody asks him, so he is supposed to say that they found the horse, he found the horse today only, right? So now they have decided that they will what will they do? They will hide the horse, because obviously they don't want to return it. And Aram, because he had just started riding the horse, so he doesn't want it to be returned. So that is why they are hiding it. So and then we see again Aram asked Murad if he had stolen the horse, but Murad, he did not answer. He always avoided answering the questions, right? And if someone found out, what are they supposed to say? That that they just found this horse in the morning, only this morning. So they took the horse to the deserted vineyard of a farmer named Fatwajian. This is Armenian name. There is a farmer. His name is Fatwajian, and he has a deserted barn. Right? We have already discussed the meaning. So this is where they decided to hide the horse, in the deserted. What is barn actually? It is a large building on a farm in which animals and their feed are kept. So it is deserted, so it is abandoned, so it means it is a perfect place to hide a horse. So now it's time for us to proceed with the remaining part of the chapter. Let's find out what the chapter has for us. So I will be highlighting the paragraph so that you could actually keep a track where we are reading. So I think this is the portion, this is the parting portion we covered in the last video. The boy have decided that they decided that they would hide the horse in the deserted barn of the farmer Fatwajian. I have an understanding, and now they are walking the horse to the barn. I have an understanding with the horse, he said. Yes, but what sort of an understanding? I said. So in the first line, I represents Murad says that he has an understanding, that he understands the horse very well. And now Adam wants to know that what kind of an understanding he is talking about. A simple and honest, he said. A simple and honest. Well, I said I wish I knew how to reach an understanding like that with a horse. And now Adam seems curious because he also wants to possess this understanding with the animal. You are still a small boy, he said. When you get to be 13, you will know how to do it. So, in response to his, his curiosity and his question, he got this answer that Adam is, he's still small. He's 9 year old. So when he will get 13, when he will turn 13, he will certainly develop an understanding with animal and especially with horse. I went home and ate a hearty breakfast. So Adam went to his home. He had his breakfast, and it is morning. Yes, it is morning because they left early in the morning. It was in the wee hours of the morning, right? So now it's morning. The That afternoon, my uncle Khushro came to our house for coffee and cigarettes. So he informs that his uncle Khushro, who is Uncle Khushro, the crazy one, who and who always say that it's no harm, pay no attention to it. So Uncle Khushro, he came to narrator's house, Adam's house, for coffee and cigarette. He sat in the parlor, sipping and smoking and remembering uh, the old country. Then another visitor arrived. So they sat. What happened? Okay, so they were sitting in the living room. They were having, they were sipping coffees and they were smoking, and they were visited by somebody else. Let's find out who is it. The another visitor arrived, a farmer named John Byro, an Assyrian who, out of loneliness, had learned to speak Armenian. So they were visited by a farmer, and his name is John Byro, and he is not Armenian, he is Assyrian, and who out of loneliness had learned to speak Armenian, but he knows how to speak Armenian because this man, he is alone, right? He lives a very isolated life. That is why he learned Armenian so that he could actually speak to these people. So my mother brought the lonely visitor coffee and tobacco, and he rolled a cigarette and zipped, smoked, and then at last sighing sadly. So what happened? Adam's mother, he offered the visitor coffee and tobacco, and then the visitor, when he became friendly, uh, he spoke, and he sighing sadly means he was very he was very sad, and he spoke. He said, my white horse, which was stolen was last month, is still gone. I cannot understand it. And the man is sad. He is very disappointed and depressed because he is the owner of the white horse. And he says that it's been a month since I lost my horse, and I don't understand where it has gone and who has stolen it. The man seems very sad. My uncle Khushro became very irritated and shouted, it's no harm. So, as you are aware, that no matter what situation is, Uncle Khushro never understands. He has a very short temper, and whenever he speak, it's like he is shouting. So, even in the circumstances, he shouted. So, and he says, what is the loss of a horse? He says that I don't think this is a loss. Haven't we all lost the homeland? What is the crying over a horse? And then he says that we have all lost something. We have lost our homeland. So I think it is pointless crying over a horse. So, instead of giving him some sympathy, or instead of consoling him, he's actually, talking about something which is irrelevant right now, right? And also, on top of that, he is actually shouting, not even talking in a polite manner. That may be all right for you, a city dweller, to say. John Byro, city dweller, the one who lives in city, said, but what of my Surrey? What good is Surrey without a horse? And this farmer, it actually, why does he need a horse? Because Surrey is called a light four-wheeled carriage, right? So that is why he need a horse, because it was his horse who pulls this carriage, and in the absence of his horse, he cannot pull this carriage. So he is useless. His carriage is useless without the white horse. Pay no attention to it, my uncle Khushro rode. I walked 10 miles to get here. John Byros said, "You have legs," my uncle Khushro shouted. So, Uncle Khushro, he again mentioned that you don't need to pay attention to it. He shouted, and John Byro, he highlighted that actually he had to walk 10 miles in order to get there because he has no horse and he does not live in the nearby areas, right? So then again, Uncle Khushro said, "You have legs, you can walk." So now you can imagine that how crazy this fellow is, right? My left leg pains me, the farmer said. Pay no attention to it, my uncle Khushro roved. And the man is actually very disappointed. He's sad, he's hurt, and even his leg is hurting. And he, because when you are, disappointed and when you're upset, what you want to do is you want to share your feeling. You actually want to give a vent to your feeling, right? And you always feel comfortable when somebody tries to soothe you or comfort you, right? Provide you comfort. But here in this case of Uncle Khushro, we see that Uncle Khushro is not a right no, he's not the right fellow, because he is not consoling or making John feel comfort. He's actually shouting and saying useless things. He says he doesn't need to pay attention to it. That horse cost me $60, the farmer said, right? And then Uncle Khushro said that I spit on money. My Uncle Khushro said that he doesn't want money. He has, according to him, he has no value for money. So he got up and stalked out of the house, slamming the screen door. So he was very upset with his behavior. John Byro left. So my mother explained, he has a gentle heart. She said it is simply that he is homesick and such a large man. So his mother explained that Uncle Khushro is actually has a gentle heart, but he's because he's homesick and he's a large man, that is why he's always behave in such a way. The farmer went away and I ran over to my cousin Murad house. He was sitting under a peach tree trying to repair the hurt wings of a young robin which could not fly. He was talking to the bird. So Adam, he heard everything. So obviously he is worried. So he went to his cousin and he told him the whole incident. And that time he saw that his cousin was sitting under a peach tree and he was actually trying to heal or cure a hurt wing of a young robin. Robin is a bird, right? And he saw that his cousin was actually talking to a bird. So he asked him, "What is it?" "The farmer John Byro, I said, he visited our house. He wants his horse. You have had it a month. I want you to promise not to take it back until I learn to ride." So we again see the kiddish nature of these children. Adam, he went to his cousin and he informed him that there is the rightful owner of the horse has been looking for it, and he wants his cousin not to return it until he has mastered the horse riding. Adam is saying that, right? So it will take you a year to learn to ride a horse, my cousin Murad said. "We could keep the horse a year," I said. So Murad said that you will not learn to ride the horse in a matter of a day or a week. It will take you an year. So Adam says that we will keep the horse for a year. I think this is very stupid because they don't know because actually this chapter it actually revolves around the childish prank of these children, right? This is a kind of a prank. I mean, they are very unaware that it is actually very bad, and this could actually bring a harm to their pride and honesty, but they don't understand. They haven't understood it right now. So my cousin Murad leaped to his feet. What, he roared, "Are you inviting a member of the Gargolanian family to steal? The horse must go back to its true owner." So he stood up and he shouted that no, we cannot steal the horse, right? Otherwise it will bring a harm. But they have forgotten that they have already stolen it. Whether you steal it for 1 month or a 1 day or for a year, it is equal. So in 6 months at the last, he said, he threw the bird into the air. The bird tried hard, almost fell twice, but at last flew away high and straight. So Murad was able to help the bird. In third attempt, the bird flew away. And it's he said 6 months. So every morning they kept the horse for 6 months. So early every morning for 2 weeks, my cousin Murad and I took the horse out of the barn of the deserted vineyard where we were hiding it and rode it. So every morning for 2 weeks they rode the horse. And where do they hide it? They hide it in the deserted vineyard of the farmer Fatwajian, right? So one morning, it was Adam's turn to ride alone. He leaped over grapevines and small trees and threw me and ran away. And again, because he is learning, he is unable to control the horse. He always fall off it, right? So nevertheless, however, I hoped it is time to learn to ride the way my cousin's Murad rode, and now he wants to learn the horse the way his cousin, his cousin manages to ride. So one morning on the way to Fatwajian's deserted vineyard, we ran into the farmer John Byro, who was on his way to town. So what happened one day? When they were on the way to this deserted vineyard, they actually came across the owner of the horse. It was John Byro. So it is going to be a very difficult situation, because this whole incident could actually ruin the hard earned honesty and pride of a tribe, which has been famous for like centuries, for 100 centuries. So he Murad, because Murad is he's elder, so he knows how to handle the situation. So he warned his cousin that you would not say a word, I would do the talking. Good morning, John Byro, my cousin Murad said to the farmer. Murad greeted the farmer. The farmer studied the horse eagerly, and the farmer, because farmer has been looking for his horse, so he observed the horse very carefully. Good morning, son of my friends, he said. What is the name of your horse? And he did not blame them first. He simply asked them the name of their horse. Cousin Murad said that his horse name is My Heart. He said that my horse name is My Heart. John Byro said, for a lovely horse, I could swear it is the horse that was stolen from me many weeks ago. May I look into his mouth? And then he said, it is a very lovely horse, and it's I swear it is actually it seems as it is my horse, which has been stolen from him many weeks ago. Of course, Murad said. So John, he actually wants to examine the horse and look into his mouth. So Murad said, yes, go for it. The farmer looked into the mouth of the horse, tooth for tooth, and he examined everything, right? He examined the horse very carefully. I would swear it is my horse if I did not know your parents, the fame of your family for honesty. Is we, well known to me, yet the horse is the twin of my horse. A suspicious man would believe his eyes instead of his heart. Good day, young friends. So, children, you have to actually highlight this line. A suspicious man would believe his eyes. Somebody who is suspicious, he will always believe his eyes, what he see, instead of his heart. But here we see that John Byro is actually not believing his eyes, he's believing his heart. So, what did John, when John Byro examined the horse and studied it, tooth by tooth, he examined everything, and then instead of blaming, because instead of blaming that this is my horse you have stolen, he mentioned that the horse looked identical to his stolen horse. But he never suspected the boys, as he knew their family and parents well, and on top of that, he that they are well known for their honesty. So that is why he did not blame them. Even he was aware that it was actually identical to his horse, but he did not blame. Why? Because of the honesty, because of the goodwill, because of because of their pride and honesty. So you see, children, how important it is. What is the use of pride and honesty? But these children, they have actually forgotten. They have taken it for granted, right? And they have done this stupid, kiddish, act. Good day, John Byro, my cousin Murad said. Early the following morning, we took the horse to John Byro's vineyard and put it in the barn. The dogs follows around without making a sound. So next day, they decided that they would, they would take the horse to John Byro's vineyard, and the dogs. There were some dogs who followed them. The dogs, I whispered to my cousin Murad. I thought they would bark. They would at somebody else. He said, I have a with dogs. My cousin Murad put his arms around the horse, pressed his nose into the horse nose, patted it, then he went away. So what happened? They, because this vineyard has dogs, so they were actually, because they were actually, they were trying to, they were doing it this work secretly. So if the dog barks, if the dogs bark, they are likely to get caught. But as always, Murad always have some understanding. He has a very peculiar, very strange understanding with animals. He said that don't worry about that, the dog will not bark, and that happened too. They did not bark. So he put his arms around the horse, and then he pressed his nose, it is actually, and he patted it, and then he went away, and they left the horse to, they returned they returned the horse the next day. And he talked, I mean, that's how we see that, that's how he communicate with horse and all. Murad. That afternoon, John Byro came to our house in his Surrey and showed me Mother the horse. Surrey is carriage that had been stolen and returned. So, in that afternoon, John Byro came to Adam's house, narrator's house, and he did not walk this time. He actually, brought his carriage, because now he has got his horse. I don't know what to think. He said the horse is stronger than ever, better tempered too, I thank God. So he came to narrator's house and he mentioned that it is actually a miracle. His horse, it got disappeared mysteriously, but now it had been returned. And a surprising thing is the horse is in a very better health, and it is also in a good temper, right? Better temper. So who was in parlor? Parlor is living room. Became irritated and shouted. So Uncle Khushro is also there, and again he is irritated and shouted, because whenever we see whenever we see that the narrator has mentioned, whenever the narrator mentions about his uncle, we always see that his uncle is always shouting and he's irritated, right? So the even at the end, in the end, we see that he is irritated and shouted, quiet man, quiet, your horse has been returned, pay no attention to it. And then as the chapter departs, we see that Uncle Khushro, he again mentions that he doesn't need to pay attention to it as his horse has returned. So that's all we have done this chapter. That's all we have. I want you to go through the question answers and the homework that you receive. Please do it, and please, textual questions are very necessary, so you have to do them in your notebook, right? We will discuss them in the Zoom class, and you can do it because this chapter is finished. We have covered it. In case you have any doubts, I will take your queries in the Zoom class session. And please make sure that you always remember that textual questions are always necessary. You have to do them. And also the homework that you receive on Ursel. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.